Howdy, folks. Not Jay here, and we are on episode 86, The Wrath of Khan. Tonight we're going to talk about the con that was, the con that happened this past weekend at my alma mater, my high school in Lee's Summit, Recruits. We're going to check it out and see what happened and sorry about that, guys. And just kind of see what's what, see what happened. Reese was in way early, way early at 11:53 this morning. He says, "Hey y'all, nice pun. You're very welcome." Hizzy Cat came in a little more reasonable time at 7:41. Hey peeps. Reese came back. Another Wiley sale. Yeah, I'm going to talk about that here in just a second. And then Chuck's in the house. People. Yes, plenty of people. So, guys, Wiley's got another sale. If I'm not mistaken, that sale is for the fantasy stuff. So definitely keep an eye out for that. It's let me see if I can pull that up here real quick. Bear with me. And we're going to Wiley. Wiley Games. We're also going to talk about something else that's going on with Wiley Games. Well, I don't seem to have. While I'm looking up this information for the sale, Jay and Robin introduced a new Choose Your Gang program. They had done this a while back with the Cowboys from Knuckle Duster Games. They're now doing this for sci-fi, for Galactic Heroes, a 3D printed resin figure that gets you a fully printed figure of your choice with the card for it. So you got that going for you. Let's see here. Games. Yes, 15% off the 15% off all fantasy stuff. Excuse me. Yeah, 15% through, well, is it 10% or 15%? The tagline says 15%, but in the text it says 10%. So let me see if I can figure this out real quickly for you, because I'd like for it to be correct. Go here. Add to cart. Go to said cart. And it is 15%. Now through this Friday, 15%. So a $22 book is $18.70. So there you go. That includes all three books: Might and Melee, Magic and Mages, and Monsters and Mazes. Magic and Mages and Monsters and Mazes, plus all three card decks. So definitely definitely time to, if you don't already have the fantasy books, now's the time to do it. So definitely get that taken care of. 15% off now until Friday, through the end of Friday. And also, like I said, take a look at if you're wanting to get into, excuse me, you're wanting to get into the new Galactic Heroes, and you don't have a 3D printer yourself, or you don't know how to, where to go to get models. Check them out. They've got all kinds of miniatures. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Looks like they've got 12 different models currently, and I'm sure there's going to be more to come. And they're $5 a piece with the card. Really can't go wrong. The models themselves comes from Heroes Horde, EC3D Designs. They are officially licensed to print these and sell them. So there you go. Walkabout Games is in the house. Says, "What's up, A? What's up there, Chris Long? Hope you're doing well in the Great White North. Don't know about you up there, but it is cool here. It is 55 degrees right now." So, and he says that there's more Trek coming to our site. Outstanding. Might have to take you up on some of that stuff, because yes, I do Star Wars a lot. In fact, this entire past weekend, I ran Star Wars Galactic Heroes all weekend. But I do like Star Trek. More original series than Next Generation, etc. But hey, Star Trek, I love it all. So, yeah, what happened this last weekend? Well, there was a convention at Recruits in Lee Summit, Missouri, at Lee Summit High School, and I gotta say, it's the first time back after being on hiatus for 2 years, and I gotta say, it paled in comparison to what it has been in the past. I don't know if it was because of, I don't know. I couldn't tell you why, other than there wasn't as many games. There didn't seem to be as many people. The previous couple of years before it went on hiatus, they offered for $5, they offered a grab bag that had all kinds of cool stuff in it. There was no grab bag this year. Previous years, they had a raffle. In fact, the 2019, the year before we got closed down, the raffle, one of the and you would buy a ticket for each of the items. So if you didn't care about the bundled book set of Lord of the Rings from Games Workshop with models and everything, then you didn't have to buy a ticket for it. But there were like a dozen different things, and with one of the things you could buy a ticket for was an actual like an Ender 3 3D printer, FDM 3D printer. Pretty cool. But they didn't have that this year. So I don't know. It was it was good to see all the people that I did get to see. There were a lot of people there that I hadn't seen in a couple of years. But the convention itself was pretty lacking, and that's a shame, because it is it in the past has been one of the best conventions I've ever attended. Now that being said, Wiley Games was there in force at one point in time. I think we had one, two, three, four, five, 6 tables set up for different versions of Wiley Games. Uh, it was not prepared well. It to answer Chris Long's question. He says not prepared as well, or new people running it. Not new people running it. Same group. It just wasn't the same. Um, I'm not gonna say bad things about it, um, because it was still fun, still great to see people, still had games played. So yeah, it was good. But for Wiley, yeah, we came in force. Um, we had Battlesuit Alpha set up. We had Masters of the Universe set up. We had Star Wars Galactic Heroes set up. We had Western Fistful of Lead Reloaded. We had Starfighters, except we were using Victorian sci-fi flying battleships. And then we had 2 different same on the same table, different sessions. There was a group that came in from St. Louis on their own. They hadn't set this up with Jay or Robin beforehand, but they came in with all of their stuff and ran a Scooby Doo mystery. And then they ran I think a World War II scenario. So yeah. So Jay ran the Battlesuit Alpha. Steve ran Masters of the Universe. I ran Star Wars. Another guy ran the Fistful of Lead Reloaded Western. McMurray, of course, ran the Starfighters with the flying Victorian sci-fi battleships. They were this scale, not the big 28 millimeter. They were the smaller brigade model size. Aeronef is what he was using, and then like I said, that group from St. Louis ran those other 2 games. So we were easily 25% of the games being offered, and one of the sessions, I think the early afternoon session on Saturday, we had Masters of the Universe, Star Wars, and Battlesuit Alpha all running with full tables. There was 6 players on each table, so yeah, we had 18 players there, and so I think maybe Scooby Doo was running at that time also. So yeah, we had like 24, like 24 players playing Fistful of Lead games at that point. So it was good. Got to see friends. Like I said, got to see people I hadn't seen in a couple of years. Got to see some friends that I had just seen a couple of weeks ago when they had come over in August for my brother's J3. So it's good. Had a lot of fun. I didn't get a chance to take a whole lot of photos because I was running the games. I ran Saturday afternoon, was prepared to run Saturday night, or excuse me, Friday afternoon, was prepared to run Friday night, but nobody was there. So I got to play on McMurray's table. Then ran Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon. Then I did not have a late Saturday afternoon. and then we didn't have any sessions at all in the evening. So I ran 3 times, full table each time. So it was good. It was good. Didn't buy anything at the convention itself. I did get, and I'm going to do a, well, I got some stuff recently in the mail. One thing I did know was coming. Another thing, another thing I was unaware of that was coming, and then I got something from. Then I got a box from McMurray, or McMurray brought it, but it's from Todd. And then also while I was at the show, for some unknown reason, a gentleman walked up to me and handed me this. Just handed it to me. It's an MDF model of the HMS Prince of Wales in what looks to be maybe 1/1800 scale, roughly, I think. It's bigger than 124, but not quite as big as 112. So, yeah. I don't know. He just handed it to me. But Todd, I talked to Todd. Or told the guys that I had played Shadows over Normandy, which is a Cthulhu version of Heroes of Normandy, made by Devil Pig Games. And Todd said, "Hey, I got a copy for you. $30 and it's yours." I said, "Hell, send it with McMurray to recruit, so I'll give him the money." So here it is. I don't know if y'all have seen this before, but to me, it looks like it was originally going to be a miniatures game. And let me show you, before I dig into it real deep, let me show you the other things that came in. Finally, after the long wait, Gunfighter Royale has come in. I'm going to get a hold of Forrest and see if he wants to come on the show when I do my unboxing of this. We'll see, maybe. And then, so I knew that was coming. I knew this was coming. What I didn't know, what was showing up, and it showed up on Tuesday, Monday or Tuesday, Monday. Yeah, Monday. Point Blank V is for Victory from the wonderful guys at Lock and Load. They sent me this copy. I'm going to do an unboxing of it also. Just for the uninitiated, this is a card-based game. It's World War II. It's a tactical World War II squad-level card war game for 1 to 2 players, either against one another or using the Solitaire module. Game pits the Allied forces from the United States, United Kingdom, Canada, and the French resistance against the many different branches of the German armed forces on the Western Front in 1944. So there you go. I'm going to dig into it. I might see if the guys from Lock and Load want to come on when I'm talking about it. I don't know. We'll see. Like I said, before I dig into this, I want to get with Forrest and see if he wants to join us. But since I don't have anybody, I don't know anybody at Devil Pig to come on. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys, what's in here. Of course, you got the rule book, you got the scenarios. And the reason I'm saying that this thing was probably originally going to be a miniature game is because of the tokens. So it's not really a hex and counter game because the board is squares, and these squares are what size squares are these? Hold on 1 second, guys. The squares are 1.75 inches, almost 2 inches. So an inch and three. Each square is 1.75 inches here, and then the tokens. I'm going to go ahead and punch a couple of these out so y'all can see them. So here is here is a German recon group, and it gives you all the information you need on there. But you can see the top-down look. Those look to be 15 millimeter. So this I could very easily get some German 15 millimeter figures, throw them onto a 1.5 inch base, and call it good. And play with miniatures instead of the tokens. Here is a Sidcaviz 251-1, and that's absolutely right there at 15 millimeter. And then, of course, here is a Panzer IV. Pretty good, material here. It's cardboard. It's kind of a matte finish. Lots of stuff. Lots of stuff on here. It looks like it's. I had fun when Jay and I played the Cthulhu version. So I thought, hey, why not go ahead and pick up, the regular version. For those that know, we've got Oddball. So, like I said, for those that know. So yeah, this will be in the rotation of games. Pretty high quality. I really like the dice. It just 2 of each style, but here are the German dice with Balkenkreuz, and then the pips look like bullet flashes. So 2 German, and then of course 2 Allied. I don't want to say American because during D-Day, all the Allied vehicles carried the star and circle. Reese, let's see. It does have an M4 Sherman, so I can only assume that that's Oddball's. I can only assume that that's Oddball's tank, being an M4 Sherman. Actually, yeah, it says Oddball right there. So that's his tank. So whether there's an actual scenario from Kelly's Heroes or not, I don't know. Let's take a look. Let's see if I can find something out of the scenario book. So, what have you guys been up to? I know Chuck has got some blue curtains for his table and got a big piece of plexi to go over it. So you got that going for him. I know Chris Long has been working on his Brownwater Navy for Vietnam. That's looking good. Reese has been wrestling turkeys I'm aware of that. But yeah, let me know what y'all been up to. While I quickly look through to see if I can find anything about scenarios. Let's see. Dun, 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 dun. Well, there's a couple with Oddball, but I don't know if they're actually like from the movie or not. Anyway, so Reese said no luck in the woods, but going again every week until the freezer is full. Viet Cong and NVA on the painting table. Outstanding. Yeah, because you owe Jay Wiley a Vietnam game in 54 millimeter because you're coming to March to Victory. So this was your bear hunting weekend this last weekend, and you're still hunting bear, or are you? What are you actually hunting at this point? Because I've never tasted bear. I can't think that bear would actually be really that good. I could be wrong. I don't know. Bear and deer. Okay. Is the bear just for sport and the deer's for meat, or do you eat bear also? Because, and I'm not judging. I don't see where bear would be bearable. Sorry. Oh man, this show is not as good when it's just me. I can tell you that right now. We definitely need other people here. I know. How are those boats coming, Chris? I know that you've been working pretty heavy on those. Reese says deer season starts a week after deer. Bear tastes like a sweet, wet, greasy pork. They fatten up on berries. Yeah, I think that's supposed to be sweet, greasy pork. 5 ships so far from Brownwater Navy, and a Canadian Cold War Navy started. Nice, nice. What is that? That Canadian Cold War Navy, is that going to be 1/2400, or are you making it smaller? Are you making it bigger? And where are you getting your files from? I think you've told me where the files have come from before, so if you don't want to go over it again, you don't have to. And Reese, you go in with a crossbow, right? For both bear and deer, or do you? Because I would think a crossbow might just piss off the bear if you don't hit him right. I would think you would need something pretty substantial to take down a bear. I've also been working on getting E4 Airmen's ships painted. Here is the Rodney. Got a little cleanup to do on it, but it's going well. So, so what do we got to look forward to? Well, if you are not already, go over to Wiley Games YouTube channel and subscribe. This Saturday, he's going to do a drawing for a hardback fantasy book. If you are subscribed to Wiley's channel, you have an entry, one entry per subscriber, and he's got over 500 now. So you got about a 1 in 510, 100, 500, 1 in 512, or however many it is. Actually, I can probably go take a look right now. Let's see. Let's go here. Let's go subscriptions. Subscriptions. Oh, here we are. We got to scroll all the way to the bottom for Wiley. They're in alphabetical order. Wiley. Or is it Fistful? Where are you? Here we go. Wiley Games. 603. So you got a 1 in 603 chance of winning the hardback fantasy book. Reese says, yes, until November when I switched to rifle, my crossbow can put an arrow all the way through a bear and stick into a tree on the other side. It's stout. Outstanding. Now, to cock it, I guess you would call, or to get it, into the launch position. Do you crank it? Do you have a lever to do it? I'm not thinking you can, pull it yourself, because short limbs with a pull strength strong enough to put a coral or a bolt through an animal into the tree behind it is pretty. That's a string and pulley system. Okay, so like a compound bow. All right. So not as difficult as the old school crossbows. All right, very good. So yeah, head on over. If you're not already a subscriber to the Wiley channel, click subscribe. Hit the little ding dong bell thing to let you know when they're doing something. When they either go live or they got a new video go up. And then this Saturday they're drawing, and so right now it's a 1 in 603 chance that you're going to get a hardback fantasy book. And that could be why they've got the sale on the book right now. Well, that, and also there's so many fantasy shows out right now, with Lord of the Rings out there, and Game of Thrones, and all kinds of crazy, the new Dragon, Dragon Age, or whatever the hell it's called. I don't know. Being that I'm not a overly large fan of fantasy, again, I'm more of a sci-fi guy. I like my swords to be laser, and my sidekicks to be Wookiees. So, and my wizards to not have to do hamana hamana with their hands. I know Star Wars is still fantasy. I get that, but it's lasers and flying in spaceships. Anyway, so yeah, definitely do that. 15% off all of the fantasy stuff until Friday, and then check out their new, like I said, $5 miniatures for Galactic Heroes. They've got 12 in stock, and they're printing them themselves. So, even if they run out, it doesn't take long to get new ones printed. So, what do we have coming up? Well, Wiley Wargaming Weekend is coming up in 2.5 weeks. I'm going to be taking What a Tanker with me for everybody to play. It'll be Americans versus Germans. And of course, with me, it's going to be in the south of France because not enough love is given to Operation Dragoon. So 36th Infantry, I think it was the tank hunters, the M10s will be from the 636th tank hunter battalions. The tank battalion itself, I can't remember what its number was, but it'll be there. So we got that coming up. Should have a good group there. We may or may not have something during that time. And then after that, Millennium Con is coming up quickly in November. I won't be making it this year, unfortunately. Hopefully I can get down there maybe next year. We'll see. And then the first weekend of December, I might be going back to Kansas City for Midwest Game Fest. I don't know. Telemachus comes in with, it is better to write a good set of rules for a popular genre, i.e. sci-fi, World War II, etc., or a mediocre set of rules. Oh, is it better to write a good set of rules for a popular genre, i.e. sci-fi, World War II, etc., or a mediocre set of rules for a genre rarely represented, such as urban fantasy or other? Opinion question. Well, really, I'll be perfectly honest, and that is, write a good set of rules that will handle both. Because, and I know I flog, I flog Fistful of Lead constantly. You know this. You know I am, intricately involved with Wiley Games. Jay is a good friend of mine. Yes, he gives me stuff. I'm not going to lie. But would I still be talking about it if he wasn't giving me stuff? Absolutely. So if you take Fistful of Lead out of the equation, I think what you want to do is, if you can, write a good set of rules for a popular genre that can then be possibly blended into a genre rarely represented. Yeah, generic rules versus targeted rules. So what you do is you start with generic rules that are sound, that really, gives you a good basis, and then once it gets popular, then you can start targeting. You can then say, okay, I'm going to take these rules, and a perfect example is Ambush Alley. They took their force on force rules and then put the sci-fi. They took the generic force on force rules, which basically could handle anything in the Cold War time up to the present, and then took sci-fi and laid it on top with some tweaks. So have a good set of generic rules that will then allow you to do targeted, focused rules. And that's what Jay Wiley has done. That's what they did with Ambush Alley. And in fact, the newest set of rules from Ambush Alley, I think they're calling it the Next War, is actually both modern / ultra modern and sci-fi merged together. So I think that's going to work real well. So that's actually a really good question. And then Chuck says the ships I ordered to use with a billion suns got canceled by Miniature Market. No reason. So a billion suns goes to the maybe pile in maybe play in mid 2023 list. A good chance that the reason they got canceled is because they lost the models in their rearranging of the warehouse. They're moving the warehouse, so that could be it. MH777. Don't believe I've seen you here, so welcome. Glad you're here. He says, I agree. A good core set of rules able to be expanded and or reskinned is possibly the best way to go. Yeah, that, start off. Hell, even let's be honest. Games Workshop did that. They started off with Warhammer Fantasy. Pretty good set of generic rules. And people started to like them, and then hey, let's put a sci-fi veneer on top of it, and boom, they got 40K. They did this, and then they kind of did the same thing with War Master. They took the fantasy battle and said, okay, what if we make the miniature smaller and expand the forces, and then now you've got all kinds of games based off of War Master. You've got War Master, you've got War Master Historicals, you've got the nuts. Cold War Commander, the Commander series, Cold War Commander, Blitzkrieg Commander, Sci-Fi Commander. I don't remember what that is. So yeah, and you're welcome. You're welcome. If anytime y'all have questions, you want my opinion on something, for what it's worth, I'm no guru of the hobby. Yes, I've been playing for a very long time. Yes, I've played a lot of different games, but by no means am I a guru. But if you want my opinion, I'll give it to you. I love to hear myself talk. New for sure. Well, welcome, sir. I'm glad you've joined us. I hope you enjoy the show. We've got 86 plus live shows so far. Got a lot more to go. So yeah. And then I like the rules. You add the flavor to get what you want. Exactly. Yeah. So, pardon me. Yeah. So, if you've got a good enough imagination yourself, you can take a generic set of rules and add the flavor you want. The reason why we've got so many different versions of Fistful of Lead, and there are a lot, and there are more, there are a lot, and there's more to come, is because people keep asking Jay Wiley, well, how would you do this? How would you do that? I'm thinking about, I want to run werewolves. How would I run werewolves? Well, then once he gets enough of that type of question, he goes and writes a set of rules for werewolves, along with vampires and ghouls and ghosts and everything. And that's how you get Tales of Horror. Or he remembers the day when, the Saturday mornings when he was a kid, watching He-Man and G.I. Joe and all that. So he decides, hey, I'm going to write a set of rules for that. That's where we get Wasteland Warriors and stuff like that. So, so yeah, I agree. If you can add your own flavor, outstanding. If you're needing someone else to add the flavor for you, there's plenty of it out there for you. So, Reese, absolutely, it's okay to start a scenario in the middle of the action. In fact, that's what in a lot of cases you get with force on force. With the table being so small, sometimes a 2x2 table or a 3x3 table, and ranges being the full length of the table, you're in it right away. And in some cases, I really like that, because I know a lot of people like the game of maneuver, and the game I like for that the most, and I'll get to your question, MH777. Don't worry, I get to everybody. Don't worry. Um, the game I like for maneuver as part of the game is Chain of Command. The first part, the scouting, where you are setting out your jump off points. You're moving those markers around, uh, to set up the battle lines, and then as soon as you come out, in some cases, as soon as you come out, you're ready to start shooting. So I really like that a lot. So, but yeah, force on force, tomorrow's war, next war, um, you're in the thick as soon as turn one happens. I really like that. So absolutely, if you've got a scenario that you want to already be in action, hell, have some of the guys actually already wounded, and maybe you need the medic to come take care of them. Why not? That might be pretty good, for like your Vietnam game. Maybe do a couple of hours into the Yad Rang uh, battle, with the Seventh Cav going up against the Vietnamese right there on the border. That'd be cool too. So yeah, absolutely, it's absolutely okay to do that, in my opinion. Um, I saw the system recently called Saga. Any opinion on that? Um, when I lived in Austin, first off, I like the concept. I'm not sure. I'm still undecided about the special dice in the battle board. When I lived in Austin, I played it quite a bit, because that was the game du jour. It seemed like we had a new game being played like every month down there. I created a couple of battles for it, or a couple. I built an army up for it. So enjoyed playing it. Uh, so yeah, that's. I'm still not sure about the special dice activation. At the time, I thought it was pretty cool. Now it's almost gimmicky. The other thing is, I know a lot of people that are playing it competitively, and I'm not a big competitive player. So, yeah, there is that. But good question. Thank you. I hope that answers your question. I'm never gonna tell someone not to play a game that they're interested in, because what you like and what I like can be completely different. Um, I enjoyed playing the game, but again, I enjoy playing games for the social value, the interaction with the other player, more than the game itself sometimes. So I did enjoy playing the game. I did paint some miniatures for it. I think I actually bought it. It's around here somewhere, I think. So yeah, it's a good game. If that's a kind of a time frame you like and it's what you want to get into, by all means. It's a low model count. That's the other big thing I like. It's a low model count. I love that. So, Telemachus, sorry, not Temeculus, Tele, Telemachus, Telemachus. I will get it right, guys. Don't worry. Not to poke the well-worn bear about GW, but are they more marketing company than game company nowadays? Seems the rules are barely playable for fun for all players involved. So I never want to be. I don't want to denigrate a company and say that they're bad. Um, what I will say is they're a model company. They make rules to make you buy their models. So they come up with a cool model, but it's not in the current book. They're going to revamp the book and sell you a new book. So you will want to go buy the model. If that is, and if that's what you want to do, by all means, play it. My brother, and he is on here. The Veteran Wargamer is my brother. Again, if I will pimp other people's shows, so he's not been able to have as many podcasts recently as he has previously, but he's got a great library of podcasts that go back multiple years. At one point in time, I think he was doing a show every 2 weeks. It dwindled down a couple of years ago, but the material is there. It's great stuff. Go check him out. The Veteran Wargamer. He's also you can get him anywhere you get podcasts from, and you can also check him out on Twitter. He's pretty active on Twitter. I think it's at Veteran Wargamer on Twitter, or at the Veteran Wargamer. One of the two. All right, check him out. Great show. I'm on it a couple of times. Doesn't mean that's not what makes it great. What makes it great is his views, his ideas, his concepts, and his other guests. He's had some really amazing guests. So check him out. Please go check him out. But yeah, as for GW, they're there to sell you their models. They're there to sell you their paints. So they're going to change. Yes, at Veteran Wargamer. There you go. At Veteran Wargamer. Thank you, Jay. So, as far as GW goes, like I said, they're there to sell you models, or they're there to sell you paints, they're there to sell you miniatures. So they're going to revamp their rules every so often. So, and that's the model that works for them. They went from barely scratching by a couple of years ago to being a 800-pound gorilla in the room. They're making money hand over fist. People love their stuff. I'm not going to tell them they're wrong, because I have a fair amount of GW stuff myself. All of it is like from 4th edition or earlier. So that tells you, kind of the time frame I'm talking about. And my brother Jay, he likes to say, old hammer is the best hammer. And we've, it goes back and forth. Well, what's considered old hammer? Old hammer is probably the Warhammer that you got into the hobby with. And when I say the hobby, I mean the GW hobby. They view themselves, when they say the hobby, they don't mean gaming. They don't mean tabletop gaming. They mean the hobby of Games Workshop. And that's okay. I'm not going to argue their success because they've done a great job. In fact, I've got on my table here, this is a bag of 40K stuff. Tau. I love me some Tau. So, yeah. So I hope that answered your question on about GW. Reese says, thinking about starting my raid on the Special Forces camp after the mortar shells have hit and the VC are inside the wire. Absolutely, man. That would be great. Don't tell the American players that's how it's starting, though. Tell the Vietnam players, hey, this is what's going down. Don't tell the American players. Just screw with them. I love that idea. My rules are add flavor depends on the time period and lots of movement. So there you go. Everybody likes to play differently. Everybody will do things differently. I like getting into the thick of it fast because at heart I'm a convention player. So I like to I like to run games. I don't go to conventions to play games. I go to conventions to run games. So I like to get when you only have 3 or 4 hours to get a game in, and it's not like a tournament style game where you're going in for a kill or whatever. That's you need to get it. Chris says I love evac scenarios. Yeah, that would be great. And then my brother Jay says, I'd say starting a con game in the middle of the action is almost required. Yeah, exactly. MH777, you are very welcome. GW, they make miniatures. The rules are secondary. Exactly. And Chris Long says, hi, Jay. Recently sold most of my Warhammer 40K stuff to focus on other game systems. Fleet, naval, space, combat games have really intrigued me lately. Picked up Castles in the Sky. Can't wait to get my first game. So I don't know if you saw this, but in prior shows, McMurray, one of my co-hosts, McMurray and I did a quick review, not a review, just kind of a quick flip through of Castles in the Sky. So check that out. And then Fleet Naval, what time period are you interested in? World War II, Age of Sail. So there you go. Let me know on that also. Yeah, first game in soon. Yeah, and let us know when you play it how you like it. I want to know. I haven't had a chance to sit down with it. Neither has McMurray. We've been pretty focused on getting our games ready for recruits. So don't understate the rule cells. There's a reason why rules are spread across 10 plus books. No, I'm not saying that the rules are. I'm not saying the rules are secondary. I'm saying they're using the rules to sell the models and the paints and the figures. So I mean, they're intricately locked within. You can't have one without the other. But it's the rules are there to sell the models, and then you see a new model that, oh man, that's really cool. How can I play it? Oh, I got to buy the rules. So now I've got the rules. Oh, I need these other models now to make up my army. It's not really a vicious circle, but you're in it. I'm still designing my flying ships rules. Look great. Oh, I'm still, yeah. All right, cool. Yeah, let us know about that. And anytime, Chris, if you want to join us here on the show and talk about what you're doing with your website and your selling your 3D miniatures and whatnot, let me know. I'll be more than happy to bring you on, buddy. Uh, Also, they're constantly walking a tightrope to keep tournament players happy and buying. Exactly. Yeah, and that is their real that's their real breadbasket. There is the tournament player. Um, they're all that's you know scale creep or army creep. Yeah. Uh, how would you make a non-combat mini game interesting? For example, treasure hunt or whatever. It seems people have more fun blasting each other off the table. Well, and I'll get to a point on that here in just a second. I'm going to swing back to that here in just a second. Um, I think it's going to be tricky to master that game, but once I get my head around it, it's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, I think so too. With both the love of naval combat that both McMurray and I have, I think we'll be able to get it figured out as well. So yeah, it looks like it's going to be good. Walkabout Game says okay, thumbs up. All right, so back to this. So this past weekend at Recruits, the scenario that I ran for Star Wars was called Bounty Hunters Bonanza, and each player had a team of 5 characters, and and then there were markers throughout the town that had uh, that were bounties. So when you got within a certain range of them, you you clicked on your tracker, and we randomly pulled the miniature and what their value was on for that particular bounty. So, for instance, one of them was Dr. Evazan from he was the one that was getting on to Luke in the cantina. I don't like you. He don't like you either. Um, anyway, and he was one game he was worth 50 credits. Another game he was worth 150 credits. So it's very random. And the job of each player was to pull in as many credits as possible for from the bounties. You're not going to win the game just by murdering people, by shooting them in the face. If they got in your way, sure, yeah, you're gonna have a shootout. But the first session that I ran, um, it was a group of friends that had come to the convention. They were all college kids um, in their early 20s, and it was 2 guys, uh, or 3 guys and a girl, and then um, 2 others that were not part of their group. And 2 of the guys just started blazing away at each other, and killing each other left and right. They quickly got down to only 3 characters each, then 2 characters. At one point in time, one of them only had 1 character. The girl, who none of them had ever played the game before, but I think she had just started playing games recently because she kept asking good questions like, how do I do this, or I want to do that, how do I do that? So she actually played to the scenario and won. So if you got players who like to win, make the scenario only winnable by achieving goals that don't necessarily mean shooting the other guy in the face. The other thing is, in a lot of cases, set up objectives that are not directly confrontational between your players. So in other words, have the objective for this set of characters maybe needs to go in to a high security building and steal the MacGuffin and get get out, while the objective for this other team is to kidnap someone who is completely different from where the MacGuffin, or not someone different, obviously there's someone different, but in a place that is in a different location. Maybe their paths will cross by how they have to get to where they're going. The MacGuffin, you have to go this way, and the guy you're wanting to kidnap or save is down this way. So yeah, there's going to be some crossing, but just because they're on the same table and in the same location doesn't mean they're going after the same thing. Excuse me. So that's how you would, if they want to win, that's how you get them to stop shooting each other in the face. Also, give it a time limit. You only have, and make it doable. Figure out how far they've got to travel, because that's another thing. There's a lot of times that scenarios are written and they just don't realize, okay, we have to do this in 6 turns. The fastest anybody can move is 10 inches, and I'm going to make, and you got to go in and out. You have to start on this board edge, and you have to go in and then exit the same board edge. I'm going to make, if they can move 10 inches at maximum and do nothing else but move, and it's going to be within 6 turns. That's in one of the turns is getting the MacGuffin. Well, I've only got 50 inches to work with at max. So don't put you in that. So that's 25 in and 25 out. Don't make your MacGuffin be 36 inches away from where they start. They'll never get the scenario, and I've seen that far too many times. But yeah, make it doable, but make it a timed event. It needs to be done, especially in a convention. You've got 3 hours. You got 4 hours. You got to get in, you got to get out, type thing. So that's how I would do it. And that's how I have done it. Let's see. I think it's going to be tricky to master the game. Oh yeah, we did that one. Okay, yes. E4 Airman, great report. Thank you, E4. I've been working diligently on your ships. This is one of them here. This is the Rodney. Getting her painted up. I got some touch up still, obviously, but they're coming along. They're coming along. Let's see. I like outnumbered defense scenarios or escape scenarios. Yeah, that's another good one. Like I said, either you're already in a place and you're surrounded and you're trying to get out, or you've got to sneak in, grab, and sneak out type of thing, and you're outnumbered. Let's see. I feel to make a non-combat miniatures game interesting and fun would possibly have to borrow from role-playing games in a sense that maybe creating a card system or dice chart to interact with an NPC. Not necessarily. You can definitely have an NPC in there, but you play that NPC. You as the game master become that NPC. That way, you don't have to, I see what you're saying, but you don't have to, just kind of have in your mind how this guy is going to interact with the different players or the different teams. And, instead of rolling dice, go with, kind of in the back of your brain, how they would interact with these different characters or these different teams, and work it that way. Don't lock yourself down to randomization with dice. or with cards. Maybe have how they would react written down on cards, so it's something for you to remember. So, okay, this group is a police organization, and they're going to come in and they're going to talk to this guy officially, et cetera, and so forth. How would he react? If they're nice, if they're belligerent, et cetera. You might do that. Have that predetermined that way, but I wouldn't worry about dice or random card draw. So let's see here. Oh my God, so cool. Yeah. I'm going to post when I get more of them painted up. I'll post them up in the, both on Facebook and Discord. Reese says, Walkabout, you need to come and march and play against Hexy at my table. Yeah, if we can get Hexy out there. I hope we can we've got October, November, December, January, February, and all of our, we got 6 months to convince him to get out here. So, E4 says our Gunfest is for charity. We've raised over 600,000 and given it to charity over 5 years. Oh, that is outstanding. That's amazing. That's really good. That's great. If you've got a website that you'd like to share, let me know. I will absolutely share it, especially for charity. So, says a playable character can have modifiers depending on options. And like I said, and you said good point. I think the best way to do is have a kind of a predetermined how the NPC will interact with the different groups, but don't have it be random. Have it be, okay, they're coming in belligerently, he's going to react this way. If they're coming in nice, they're going to react this way. And they will react differently to the police unit than they are the paramilitary unit or the criminal unit. So, I find myself gravitating more towards narrative miniature skirmish games lately. The players here almost always forget themselves and lock and load, and then lose the game. Narrative is new to them. Yeah, and you got to hold them by the hand when you do this. And I prefer narrative gaming. I really do. Especially if you can work it into a campaign where at the end of the day, if this guy got shot, well, he's not coming back. Or if he's coming back, it'll be in a couple more sessions. So yeah, that's another way of breaking them of that. Have them have consequences. Have them have to think about, okay, after this session, what am I going to have to play in for the next session? So, and again, because, I flog Fistful of Lead, that's actually in the books. You have, you have when a character goes down and they're out of action. That's why it's called out of action and not dead. They're out of action for that time frame. They can either be dead, they could be at the end when you check, they could be dead, they could be just severely wounded and won't be back for a session or two, or they were just grazed and they'll be ready to come back with a wound, or there's nothing really wrong with them. They just got a ping off the helmet on their head, kind of like Nixon in Band of Brothers, where the ricochet off his helmet happened and he went down. Like, oh, Nix, what's going on? So yeah, that again, giving them consequences for their actions. It's like, okay, guys, we're going to start a campaign, and whatever happens in this session will affect you in future sessions, and you only have X number of characters to play with. Yeah, yes, you get 5 on the table, or yes, you've got 8 guys, but you only get 5 on the table. And if one of them goes down, he may not come back. And then, of course, you have the objectives that aren't necessarily, murder face. So, um, opinions on Tabletop Simulator for distance gaming. Been trying it with Galactic Heroes lately with decent results. I don't have Tabletop Simulator. I know that every once in a while it gets put on sale over on Steam, and there are tons of games out there. Not only miniature games, but also board games. I know a lot of luck. My apologies, guys. I know a lot of lock and load games have uh, a lot of tabletop simulator modules. And Devin, the original Grognard, the OG, who comes on and watches from time to time, he's been telling me to pick it up so we can play World War 85 together. He lives out in the western Washington area, Seattle area. I live here in middle of nowhere, Illinois. So to actually get a game together, that's how we would have to do it. So I need to break down and it's only $20 and they've got it on sale like apparently all the time for $10. So I should break down and do it. And yes, E4 Airman, yes, thank you. Do not forget to give a thumbs up. Give me that likey. Give me the subscription. I am speaking of subscriptions. Where are we? Where am I for subscriptions? I'm at 228 right now, going for 300. So I made the deal. If we hit 300 by Christmas, I will I will paint up an Obi-Wan Kenobi and a Darth Vader from the Kenobi series and send that out to you along with a Chronicles of Not JT shirt. If by chance we get 300 by Halloween, and I've already said this isn't anything new. I've already said this also. If by chance we hit 300 by Halloween, I will paint up 2 5-man crews, a Rebel and an Imperial, with statted out cards and a PDF copy of Fistful of Lead Galactic Heroes, along with the t-shirt. So spread the word. Let people know that we're out here. Hopefully y'all enjoy my content. I'm hoping to get some more videos besides just the live shows. The problem is, and I've said it before, my problem is that the internet is so poor that when I upload a video, first off, a 10-minute video takes about 4 hours to upload. And when I do upload, it draws my download speed to, double-digit kilobits per second. Like 57 kilobits. Not megabits, kilobits. And it becomes absolutely, useless at that point. So the upload has to go on, I have to start it before I go to bed. And it's very frustrating to me. So, but I'm hoping. MH777 says it's a good tool for gaming. It is, yeah. Gives you a chance to test things before you go out and buy the models or print the models to paint them. Been running story campaigns for various games for people since the 90s. I find very few of them care about the story and go for the gun. Fun, but kills the time I spend creating the campaigns. Yeah, like I said, it's you need to work it in there to where, okay, if you get this guy dead, he's dead and he's not coming back. And if you don't do the scenario, if you don't do the objective, uh, you don't get the money, the credits, the points, the whatevers to hire a new guy. And so you'll just, if you don't do what you're supposed to do, you don't, you can't replenish your dead guys. And then, it's, if you want to continue playing the game, you want to continue having fun, you want to continue being part of this, you got to, you got to do the objectives. You got to earn the scratch so you can hire new guys. So yeah, narrative story-based campaigns are great. I really enjoy them. I like the world building that can be done. So yeah, it's good stuff. The issue that I run into is, except for gaming with my brother, which I love doing. Don't get me wrong, Jay. If you're still out there, I love gaming with you, and gaming all the different games that we do play or have been playing recently. Is that to game with anybody else, they either have to travel 2 or more hours to see us, or we have to travel 2 or more hours to see them. Like, I earlier this year, I was about one Sunday a month, I was going down to St. Louis to game with McMurray and Todd from time to time. And that, for me, that's a 2-hour drive. 2 hours down there, 2 hours back. So that's 4 hours. Get to game for 3, 4, 5 hours. I mean, that's an entire day. It's, when I lived in Austin or lived in Kansas City, drive 20, 30 minutes to get to the store, do my gaming for, 3, 4 hours, head home, still have enough time to, spend with the wife, etc. But, luckily our wives enjoy a hobby amongst themselves also. They both quilt. So, Jay and I and Junior Wargamer, his son, my nephew, we go do our thing, and they go do their thing. So it's good. Yeah. Yeah, it is only an hour and a half to Springfield, and we got Eric and Ray out there. So, and we could go up and meet new people up in Quincy. But yeah, you're right. It would have to be GW something. But we get in to a group, get to know them, get to like gaming with them, and then turn around and say, hey, look, we got another way to play with these models. Years ago, I made the mistake of writing in Battlefield Salvage into a battle tech campaign. All gloves came off and people smelled blood. Yeah, it's, and again, that's why you don't necessarily give all the players the same objective. Give them giving them different objectives where yeah, they might cross paths, but they're going after different things is, a way to mitigate that. Because you say, yeah, we're gonna do Battlefield Salvage, and there's a 100-ton mech out there that still has got, PPCs and mass driver cannons and whatnot. Everybody charges that. Well, you're going to be in a gunfight. Whereas if you say, okay, there's a 20-ton mech that we need to get the left servo motor out of, and then you give another team that 50-ton mech needs to get, you need to go save the pilot. That's another way of doing it. For yeah, the Lincoln Museum. I've never been to the Lincoln Museum. I need to go. There's actually the Lincoln Museum and the Lincoln Library. I need to go to both. And I have not been to. I've been to Lincoln's hometown. Um, I don't remember the name of it off the top of my brain, but it's where he's spent as a before he became a congressman. He lived in this small town outside of Springfield. And it's pretty cool. I would imagine the way to go about it would be up front with your player, or as a player, have a conversation on what is expected for the narrative. Yeah, and that's another thing is, when you're going to start a narrative campaign, get together with your players and say, okay, guys, this is what I am envisioning. This is what my goal for this campaign is. This is what I envision. How does that track with what you guys are wanting? Are you wanting the same thing? Are you wanting something different? Just let me know, and we'll work together so everybody can have the maximum amount of fun, but still be able to generate a story. Because I personally am all about telling a story with my games. Well, we're coming up to an hour and a half, hour and 27 minutes, almost an hour and a half. This has been a good discussion tonight, guys. Thanks for being very active. I ran the games at the LFLGS cannot always choose players. Most people were decent, though. It only takes one. Exactly. Yeah, and there is that. And there's ways to mitigate that to an extent as well. You can just randomly throw something into that guy's way. There's ways to help that. So I wonder how many ships have been named after Lincoln. Well, one I know for sure, and that's the aircraft carrier. Let's take a look here. Let's see here. USS Abraham. Well, it looks like just CVN 72. I don't think there are any other ships named for her or named for him. Oh, wait. George Washington class submarine. SSBN 602, George Washington class fleet ballistic missile submarine, was the first ship of the United States Navy to be named for Abraham Lincoln. So two it looks like. From 1960 to 1988, she was in service. And then the CVN 72 was laid down in 84, launched in 88, christened in 88, and then commissioned in 89. So yeah, two ships. Good chat tonight. Been painting Andorians. Very cool. Are you making them the classic crystal blue with the white hair? Not doing anything crazy. Chuck says good show. Thank you, Chuck. Reese says 2. There you go. Yeah, so the answer to that, 2. All right, guys. Well, again, thank you for everybody being so active tonight. E4 Airman, thanks for showing up. Chris Long, as always, good to see you. Reese, Chuck, Telemachus, MH777, welcome. Glad you're here. My brother Jay was here. We had other people out there. I saw them. They didn't comment, but at one point in time we had 14 or 15 watching. So, Hissy Cat was here earlier. Don't know if he showed back up or not. So yeah, guys, thanks for showing up. If you haven't already subscribed, please subscribe. I'm gonna see if either I can get Forrest Harris from Knuckle Duster Games or the guys from Lock and Load to join us next week. Oh, Hexy was here. You didn't say anything, buddy. You didn't hop on. Oh well. We'll catch you next time, bud. But yeah, I'm gonna see if we can't get Knuckle Duster or Lock and Load on the show next week, and we'll dive in on these games that I've received recently and take a look at them. So, all right, guys. Again, thank you so much. Y'all have a great week, and keep in touch with what you're gaming and what you're doing, both on Discord and the Facebook group. And excuse me, until next time, we'll see ya on the flip side.